This is a production of WKNO Memphis. Production funding for Sports Files is made possible in part by the WKNO Production Fund, the WKNO Endowment Fund, and by viewers like you. Thank you.
My guest today on Sports Files is former Memphis Tigers All-American and NBA All-Star Penny Hardaway. Happy New Year, everyone. The city of Memphis and the surrounding metro area has been known for many years as a haven for some of the best round ball players in the entire country. In sports terms, when asked for a Memphian to describe their home, the usual response is, it's a basketball town. The list of star basketball players that have called the area home is both extensive and impressive. But the three names that will stand the test of time are Larry, Keith, and Penny, as in Finch, Lee, and Hardaway. Today, the legendary Penny Hardaway joins me to talk about his impact on the University of Memphis then and now, his commitment to the community, and his financial stake in the Memphis Grizzlies. And later, Penny and I will be joined by Travis Haddock, the creator of one of the top high school basketball tournaments in the country, which just so happens to bear the name of Penny. It's a full-out, full-court press with Penny Hardaway next on Sports Files. Penny, Happy New Year. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks. Happy New Year to you as well.
I know you're always up to a lot of different things, but right now you're coaching this Leicester Middle School, and it's become a big story nationally. Tell us about coaching and how much you enjoy going back to the roots.
Well, it started last year. I joined the team. We had such a successful season that CNN got interested, came in and did an article on the team. The article got so many hits on the website that it started a movie and a book. So we're writing a book right now, and then the movie will be coming out in the near future behind the Leicester Middle team. So I'm very excited about that.
So it'll be more like a documentary?
A documentary and a movie.
Wow.
Yes,
you're going to play
both.
Yourself?
Yes, I am. No, really, both are going to happen.
How about that? Fantastic. Now, is this something, the coaching aspect, because you didn't jump into it once you retired from the NBA. Do you see yourself coaching down the line, maybe in college or high school or anywhere else, or you just like what you're doing?
I'm not sure. I really like what I'm doing right now because I really went back to my community in the Binghamton community to try to give back to the school and to the community. And it ended up having a great team and a great season, and a lot of people came in nationally and recognized that. And I really haven't thought further than that, but I really like what I'm doing right now with Leicester Middle. Well,
as I said earlier, I don't know when you sleep because you're always doing things. And now you've made a financial commitment to the Memphis Grizzlies. You're part of the minority ownership group. What do you think about being a part owner of an NBA team?
It's a dream come true. I mean, to be able to play basketball for a living was great, but to be able to be paid and play basketball was even better. But to be able to buy into the team is unbelievable to even fathom, because I never thought that I would be an owner. You know, my dream was to play. And after I played, I never thought that this opportunity would come about, and it did. And I seized the moment, and I'm happy that I did so.
Once Robert Parra took over, they brought in a lot of owners for this minority group, Justin Timberlake, a fellow Memphian, and others. Okay, they're in entertainment and some are in business, but you're a former player and a star player at that. And your friend Elliot Perry, another former Tiger great and NBA player. So do they look at you in a different light, maybe ask you a little advice? Well, what happened initially, they wanted me to come in and be involved, just from the community standpoint of trying to bridge the gap between the fans, the community, and the Grizzlies. And while I was doing so, the opportunity came about to be in the minority ownership. And but yeah, definitely, I'm going to bring, hopefully, my basketball knowledge to the situation. Not that Coach Hollins or anybody isn't doing anything great already, but be able to just loan some things to the player and to the coaching staff and to the organization from my knowledge. So you're coaching Leicester. You're obviously keeping an eye on what the Grizzlies are doing as a part owner of the team. And, of course, your beloved Memphis Tigers. You're at many games. People see you sitting courtside. What do you think about this Tiger team that, again, was nationally ranked, dropped out very quickly after they sputtered in the Bahamas, and now trying to get their legs back? What do you think of this team this season? Well, it's been interesting because a lot of guys haven't really stepped up and played the way I'm sure that they wanted to play. I mean, especially on the defensive end. I think everything
that's been in the history of Memphis basketball is we've started with defense first and then offense second.
Right.
And I think this year team has to buy into that effect. And I'm sure Josh is screaming and telling them that, but it has to transfer over into the games because you have to win games on the defensive end.
Penny, you were one of the guys who lived in Memphis, played for your hometown team, and had a lot of success. There have been others that have struggled. How hard is it for the Memphian to stay at home and play for the University of Memphis?
It's very hard because a lot of kids can't handle that pressure. If you do decide to stay at home and you're a superstar player, there's going to be a lot put on your shoulders. You carry the entire weight of the city on your back. And that's something that I welcomed because I felt like I could handle it, but it's not for everybody. It's just once the pressure starts to build, when you're not playing well, you have to be able to handle that and channel it towards working harder and getting better.
A lot of the blame when the team struggles, and there's a number of Memphians on the team, but it happens to fall on the shoulders of Joe Jackson. Joe Jackson's playing terrific basketball right now. He seems to have weathered the storm. What do you think about this young man and the pressure he's had? The King of Memphis, you get that moniker, they only expect you to be an All-American. So there's been a lot of heavy weight that he's had to carry.
Well, the city expects a lot out of Joe. It's not something that, that it's a surprise to him because he expects a lot out of himself. And like you say, he's weathered the storm. They were very hard on him. I mean, some of it was rightfully so because he brought it on himself, but
right.
A lot of it was unfair. But that's the title that you get when you're staying home and you're a hometown hero, and they expect for you to come in and win. And I'm so happy to see him playing well right now.
You are a terrific alum of the University of Memphis, not only with your support being at games and functions, but also financially your commitment. Everybody knows the $1 million you gave to the Hall of Fame, which is now in your name, the Anthony Penny Hardaway Athletic Hall of Fame. How cool is it to drive by that street and see your name up there knowing, hey, that's me?
It's unbelievable, man. I tell my friends, these type of things don't happen to people until they pass away. You get the greatest things when you pass away, which is the saddest thing. But
right.
To be able to drive by and see my name on the building and be able to enjoy it and go inside of there and see some of the things that we've done the athletes have done over the history of the University of Memphis, it makes me feel great because it's right behind the dorm room that I stayed in my freshman year, the athletic building. I mean, it's great. It just took back the memories back.
If you could change one thing from your playing days at the University of Memphis, one moment, one game, what would it be? You could change one thing.
When I played, that Cincinnati game that we lost in the Elite Eight, I wish that I could have just changed that just to get to the Final Four. I wanted to win a championship that year. I mean, it was all Memphis guys on the team. That was something that was unheard of, everybody being from the same city on one team, and
right.
We went so far. If I could change that, I would.
How tough was that, knowing you were that close?
Well, when we got the draw, when Cincinnati, I think they beat UTEP. UTEP almost beat them that game. I was hoping for UTEP because I understood the dominance that Cincinnati had against us. But when we got Cincinnati, we was like, hey, we know what we have. They're used to us. We're used to them. Let's go out and play the game. And they were just better. And we just didn't get over the hump. But I wish I could get that game over.
Do you have any regrets from your playing days? Is there anything that you would change?
At the University of Memphis? No, not at all. I mean, I think I left school in a timely fashion and when I had to because I was going to be a top 3 pick. Academically, I had achieved things that I wanted to achieve because I was on the dean's list. There really wasn't anything left with my family being in the situation that we were in, but I really don't have any regrets at the University of Memphis. It was one of the best times of my life being there because I was able to be home. I was very successful there, and we were winning. What more could you ask for?
You move on to the NBA, success right there from the get-go, an all-star, and then obviously you had the injuries later in your career. I guess if I asked you the question about regrets for the professional career, it would be having to cut the career a little bit short, right?
Well, I think the biggest regret I have was that I didn't get myself well after my first surgery. I kept playing, trying to be tough, trying to play through the pain, and it ended up haunting me. Like now I see guys sit out for long periods of time, like Derrick Rose is out, and the Bulls are saying, don't come back until you're ready.
Yeah, it wouldn't happen today. They
no,
wouldn't have let
back
that
when
happen.
I played, they kind of was like, hey, we need you on the floor. We're there at 50%, you're better than what we would have out there. So you were kind of, pushed in the direction of going back out on the floor, and I hate that I did that.
Best player you played with, best player you played against in the NBA?
Best player I played with was Shaq.
Sure.
And the best player I played against was Michael Jordan.
That's pretty good choices. All right, let's take Shaq.
That's true.
Let's take Shaq and MJ out of it. Who would be
Okay.
second then?
I would say Jason Kidd was the second best player I played with. Unbelievably awesome. And the second best player that I played against would have been Gary
Pretty
Payton.
good ones. Gary Payton, glove.
Gary was very tough, defensively and offensively.
Penny, how did Little Penny come about?
Little Penny came about because of my shyness. I wasn't really like outspoken, and there was an advertising agency called Whiting and Kennedy that worked for Nike. Came up with the idea that, hey, we should get an alter ego, someone that's going to talk smack because you won't. And your game, I just let my game talk for itself. So we're like, we'll let somebody talk your game for you. And I was like, you know what, that sounds pretty good because I thought I love comedy and I knew it would be funny, and it just ended up just being a great idea.
Do you have a Little Penny puppet in your house?
I do have one. I do have a Little Penny puppet.
Do you have any idea how many were made? How many they manufactured?
I think they made them way too late because we didn't really jump on it when we needed to, but I don't know how many were made.
Do you remember any funny outtake from the commercials or anything you were involved with Little Penny? Of course, the voice, Chris Rock, that was something that never aired because it was an outtake.
Right.
Anything that you could bring up?
No, not really, because I never filmed on set with Chris. He did his part, his voiceover, and I heard the voiceover as I was talking, and that was my first time hearing it, as well as everyone else, and I laughed every take because I was laughing at what Little Penny was saying because I hadn't heard it until the point and when I got in the commercial. So the outtakes were me probably laughing at what Chris was saying.
How different is the game today? And we talked about injuries. Obviously, if you got hurt in this day and age, you would not have played through it. They would have taken care of it medically before you were back in the game. But other than that, what difference do you see in the game today in 2012 than when you played?
I think it's our game was a lot tougher. You can hand check. You can play more physical. It took a lot more to get a foul. Nowadays, Commissioner Stern wants the points to be up and not down, for entertainment. So every little touch foul now is a foul. And that makes the game, to me, and the old school guys, a lot worse, but it helps the fans understand, that it's about offense. They want it to be more offensive in the NBA versus when I played.
I want to go back to the University of Memphis, and again, you're not only involved with financial commitment, but I'm sure there are a lot of times when they confer in you, they ask you about things. What is your take on this Big East situation?
It's really, it's hurtful seeing what's happening, right now. But
once you got in, right?
Yeah, once you got in, I love the move because the move was needed. We needed to get to a bigger conference, and we did so, and then all of a sudden the teams that we were going to play against are leaving, but there's nothing we can do about it. I mean, I love making that change, though. It gives us recruiting in the area, in the East, where we really couldn't recruit the New York kids and the D.C. kids and all those kids. Now we can recruit those kids, and the Big East is still better than where we are right now. Not to dog our conference, but it's still going to be better teams.
There's always the question whether or not a player goes to the school or for the coach, and most of the time our answer is the coach. But would you have stayed at home and played for Memphis no matter who the coach was?
Yes, I would have stayed home because I was just a home guy. I love the University of Memphis. The teams with Andre Turner and Keith Lee and those guys really sold me on the University of Memphis, and I bled blue and gray, so I wasn't going to go anywhere, even to today.
So you were an easy sell.
Yes.
I could have recruited you.
Yes, it was easy.
You have a passion for golf now. And I know you still play pickup basketball and you love the game of basketball, but you really have fallen in love with the game of golf. Why? What's the connection?
It's so competitive, and a lot of people don't understand. You can't beat the game. You can go out one day and shoot a low score, and the next day is a high score, and that drives me crazy.
Right.
Because basketball comes so easy to me, and golf is so difficult, and I think it drives me to be perfect in an imperfect game. So that's why I love golf so much.
Do you have your own instructor?
I do.
So you work hard on it. You just don't go out there and play and have fun. You want to be good, and you want to be the best you can be when you go out there on the links, right?
Absolutely. Like I said, in sports, everything has come to me very easily. And then to get into golf and everything be a struggle, I had to get the instruction and try to get myself to a scratch level and or a plus handicap level so I can enjoy the game.
Well, it's a fantastic career that you've had. Obviously, it's a great life that you have, and we're real happy that you've done so much for this community and helped out everybody here, Penny. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah,
we like to end our interviews, and of course, you'll be here when Travis joins us to talk about Penny Hardaway's Hoopfest, another thing certainly you're involved in. But we end our interviews with 5 for the road. So 5 questions from me, real quick answers. First, whatever comes to mind first. Favorite professional team as a kid growing up?
Dallas Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboys. Still a Cowboys fan?
Yes.
Yes. Tough one.
Yeah.
Fan of Tony Romo?
I am. I am. But I've been a Cowboys fan for a very long time.
Favorite professional athlete, any sport?
Deion Sanders.
Prime time. Favorite musician or singer or group or band?
That's tough. Favorite musician of all time?
Yes. Are you more old school music or
I'm
new
old
school?
school.
Yeah,
I
same
could
here.
say someone like, you can't go wrong with Marvin Gaye.
Marvin Gaye.
Okay.
All right. Final two. Favorite television show of all time?
Man, I'm a TV land guy. I love TV. That's hard to do. Favorite TV show of all time?
Tough one.
Yeah, I would say.
You said you have a sense of humor. Is there a comedy you like?
Yeah, it's gonna be like I love like Red Fox, like Sanford and Son, and those shows.
I watched that with my father when
I
I
would
was
say
a kid.
Sanford and Son.
Sanford and Son.
Yeah.
It was back to back. And so you watched the replay. You watched the reruns. I watched the first run with my father when it was Sanford and Son and Chico and the Man. Was back to back. All right, favorite movie of all time. It has to be. Does it not? Blue Chips.
Blue Chips is one of them. It might be 1B. 1A could be A Soldier Story.
A Soldier Story. Great movie.
Yeah.
What was that like, by the way, real quick? We're running out of time, but playing in a movie, Blue Chips, Nick Nolte, of course.
Nick
your
Nolte
coach.
was great. It was fun. It was a lot of hurry up and wait, but I really enjoyed being in LA for the summer filming that movie.
Have you, by the way, had a chance to go and play pickup with Jason Levian and the guys
No,
over
not
with
yet.
the Grizzlies?
We will do that this year for sure.
Absolutely. Thank you, Penny.
Thank you for having me.
Hang in there. We're going to get Travis Haddock. We'll talk about Penny Hardaway's Hoopfest in just a moment. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, time for overtime. Whenever Penny Hardaway lends his name to a project, you are pretty confident it'll be a rousing success. Memphis entrepreneur Travis Haddock came to Penny 2 years ago to be a part of what Travis was hoping would become one of the nation's top prep basketball tournaments. The result? The American Residential Services Penny Hardaway's National Hoop Fest. This year's second annual event will take place next week, January 10th through the 12th. And joining us to talk about it is Travis Haddock. Travis, last year was sensational, your first year around. Second year, you're getting ready for bigger and better things. You've changed it around a little bit.
Changed a little bit. We decided to we already knew it was recognized nationally very well, but we wanted to also regionalize the event to include, add another day so we can get some more Memphis teams and area teams to be involved as well. You know, and we like the way this is turning out.
So Dyer County for the first 2 days, then
Correct.
White Station High School.
That's correct.
You've also added an event in Las Vegas.
The Penny Hardaway Las Vegas National Hoop Fest.
Talk about
February
that
2nd,
for a second.
Super Bowl weekend. We're going to have.
And why add that? You already have the bragging rights tournament you do. You have this event. Why add the one in Las Vegas?
It's more like, why not Las Vegas? Because, you know, we had talked when we first got, you know, to more expand out to brand the event. And we really, the most important thing is to do something that nobody else has done.
Right.
You know, and that's when you take the best teams in America, having good relationships with those teams, and you take them to a particular city to play the best in those areas. Therefore, it develops an emotional attachment to the event that you wouldn't typically see. They're not just other games. These games really mean something to the teams, and it becomes very community-oriented because the fans in those cities don't want their local teams to lose to the big boys.
All right, let's talk about some of those big boys that will be coming to Dyer County and to White Station High School for this year's event.
Well, you know, obviously Chicago Simeon, Derrick Rose's former high school, they featured Jabari Parker, only the third high school player in history to be featured in Sports Illustrated. They're going to be rematching number 8 ranked Southwind. So you've got 2 top 10 teams playing that first game. Then you're going to have number 1 ranked Findlay Prep playing right behind that at 7 o'clock against Memphis Melrose. And you got Whitney Young, who's ranked number 4 in the nation, playing number 11th ranked White Station. That's just the last 3 games on the last day. You know, we've got 9 ranked teams playing, 6 in the top 10, 6 state championships, 6 state champions from last year, and that's just off the top of my brain.
Tip of the iceberg.
It is.
All right, so how do you get this gentleman involved What do you do when you come up and approach Penny Hardaway to ask him to be a part of it?
Well, we have a mutual friend, and last year I'd already kind of signed on Oak Hill, and then we'd really kind of been building this team over the past few years. And again, a mutual friend of ours said, hey, you two really should sit down and talk. And I said, okay. So we ended up having lunch at Houston's one day, and here we are ever since. And so
Penny, a lot of people probably approach you to have your name, lend your name to something. Why this?
Well, first of all, we have a mutual friend. And, Travis had such an unbelievable idea because basketball is Memphis. And to bring these nationally ranked teams in to play against our teams, our local teams, I wanted that for our kids. And he wanted that for our kids. And that's why, we partnered up and I loaned my name to this tournament.
Travis, there are some huge, as you know, high school basketball tournaments around this country. Some have succeeded, some have failed. Why did you feel so confident that this was going to be big and in just a short time has become one of the best tournaments in the entire country?
Because I don't quit, and I usually don't take no for an answer. But really, it took 3 or 4 years of just strictly networking out, developing relationships around the country with these teams and coaches, because everybody wants them to play in their event. And once you establish those friendships, then, you can open the door to having a big event like this and then moving it on to other cities too and taking these teams kind of with you.
All right, folks who want to see these games, what do they need to do?
Well, January 10th and 11th at Dyer County, the games start at 4 o'clock. It'll be $12 for adults, $10 for students at the door.
And that price is for the entire session?
The Saturday event, because we do have 6 top 10 teams, the most expensive day, it's going to be $15 for adults and $10 for students.
Okay. Is there a website they can go to?
It's haddocksports.com.
Haddocksports.com.
Correct.
All right, talk about the reaction when you were dealing with local teams and some of these terrific teams that we have, some of these terrific coaches that you were bringing this tournament. And we go back to last year when it was the inaugural tournament. What was the reaction when you said, we're going to bring in these national powers, we're going to match them up with you, it's going to be a tournament? Were they, sure, let's see it when it happens, right? What was the reaction like?
Well, they were like, at first, when you first tell them about it, everybody's like, yeah, I'll play them. And then when it's really going to happen, some people are like, hey, remember when I told you I'd do it?
They probably didn't think you were able to accomplish it.
Yeah, well, I don't know, but your best coaches in this area will play anybody because the biggest focus is to win state championships. Look at Chicago Simeon up there. They've won the last 3 states. They could care less what their national ranking is. They're so good, but their main focus is to win state. And it's really the same concept here. So to get yourself better, you really have to go out and play these national games when the opportunity arises. Because, that's what gets you better. And you've noticed the teams that win state tournaments usually come out of Memphis, and it's usually the teams that went out there and played games and maybe dropped some.
That's a great point. And
to
Penny,
get better in the end.
I would imagine as a young prep basketball player in this community, you're already playing great teams going against each other. Mm-hmm. But to have a chance to play some of the best national teams, got to fire up these young men.
Absolutely. I mean, you want to measure your talent against the rest of the country. And when you're playing the top teams, what defines the top teams from the Memphis teams? How do they get ranked? So when they come to town, these kids are like, they're going to prove to us that they're really number one or they're a top 10 team. And the talent here thinks that we can play with anybody in the country. So we're like, okay, bring them to town, and we're ready to play. So the kids are very fired up.
Now, I said the young men, but also you've had young women involved with the women's tournament as well. Is that part of this year's Penny Hardaway's Hoopfest, or is that just the bragging rights tournament when you had the girls' teams?
We incorporate a lot. Well, we do have a girls' game at Dyer County the first day to kick off the event, especially for their area. They really wanted it, and we said that's fine. Knowing that we were doing such a big blowout day in Memphis, we did 8 games the last day last year, and it was really tiring for everybody, including the teams, and everybody kind of hung in there. It was a trooper. We figured 6 games was a great amount, and when you got such high nationally ranked teams, let's just go with what we see, there, and we thought that would probably be the best idea.
All right, so Thursday, January 10th, Friday, January 11th, Dyer County High School. Tip-off time of the first game is when?
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock, and then it culminates on Saturday, January 12th at White Station High School. Action begins when?
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock on Saturday the 12th. And again, one more time in our final moment, I know you want to thank some of your sponsors, because without that, there probably would not be Penny Hardaway's Hoopfest.
Obviously, Dave Slott and Jamie Robinson with American Residential Services, and John Conway and Greg Siskin. There's a mile of people, and also Penny as well. We have a good core group around us, and we're very thankful for it.
We are looking forward to it. I know it's going to be sensational. It was last year. It was a great way to start off this new national high school tournament. I know it's going to be even bigger and better this year. And then, of course, heading out to Vegas for the first time. Nothing but the best. You've done a fantastic job bringing us some of the best high school basketball in the country.
Travis,
thank you so
it's
much.
A pleasure. Thank you so much.
Penny, I can't reach you here. I wish I had your reach, but thank you so much again.
Thank you so much.
Absolute pleasure as well. Thank you both for being with us on today's program.
Thank you.
And that'll do it for this week's show. Remember, you can see any of our past shows by simply going to our website, WKNO.org, and clicking on KNO Tonight. And we'll see you next time.